Hey, what's up? So finally I get why people have pigs and piglets as pets. And this is based on what we saw on this particular episode. So I'm going to explain that this is episode 2, season 3 of Clarkson Farm, which is chapter 18 of the whole thing. And I love the fact that in the opening they stitch it together using after the bombshell after the first episode. So we jump right into the conversation about Gerald and his diagnosis. And they spend that opening doing what Gerald is supposed to be doing. And so we get Clarkson discussing with Caleb about the situation. And so they spend that time to discuss about that. They don't let Gerald issue actually bog down the whole episode. They just spend that opening to get us, give us the information that we need to understand the condition of Gerald at that particular point. So it was cool to have that opening and clear out before now we officially begin. Now this was I would call this the evolution episode because it introduces ideas for Jeremy's farm that are beyond what they're used to doing. There's a character who's introduced, is called Andy. He comes with his friend and they discuss about how they can, do something different with the farm. The idea of instead of planting one particular plant, they plant 2 plants at the same time so that one can give nutrients to the other. There was something they were talking about nitrogen. It's a whole thing. If you watch the episode, you understand what I'm saying. So it was far more interesting when Caleb learned about that, and so he has to meet Andy, and they have that discussion as Jeremy Clarkson is standing in the background just waiting to hear what they have to talk about. And I like the fact that Jeremy chose to stand back and just listen to these 2 people have a conversation because they are 2 polar opposite of each other. This one person is used to a one way of farming, and this other person is coming with a different way of farming. But they agreed on some things, but we'll wait and see. So after that, we go now into more of what the episode is about, which is pork. And they bring in so we had a moment whereby, and I can't believe they actually did this because Jeremy Clarkson always claims to be allergic to manual labor, but they managed to create a small pork place. They fenced a small area. You remember the potato farm? They changed that into a pig. Can I call it a pigsty? But yeah, they changed that area into a pigsty, and they did it with Lisa. Lisa and Clarkson actually built that themselves. They did not need any help from Caleb or anyone else. And so we follow them build that, and then they bring in now the pigs, which was now why I was talking about. I understand why people actually keep them as pets, because when they came out, you could just see the reaction from Lisa and Clarkson on how they admired these little, especially the piglets, the small ones. They were like so. They instantly just started falling in love with these small creatures and how they were just behaving. And you could actually see from how they were reacting. And the fact that they actually came in the next day to just watch them, eat and do some awkward things like reproduce, which I expected from this show because it's a Clarkson show. You expect the camera to actually awkwardly just stay there when some pigs are procreating. Because there was an issue with one of them, the female was too big than the male, so the male could not reproduce with that, and so they bring in another smaller female, and so the camera just sits there and we get to watch that. So I thought that was pretty awkward, but again, it's a Clarkson show. What do you expect? They're obviously going to keep that in. Anyway, so and just to go to prove how cute these animals are, when Caleb comes through to actually see what they did, he obviously scorns them because of what they did, because they did the whole thing wrong. Of course, that's what you would expect of of Clarkson. But when he sees the animal, instantly he goes like, wow, they look really good, because he was actually, whatever reaction Clarkson and Lisa had, he also had the same reaction with the pigs. And so it also ends in a bombshell whereby Clarkson was like, I let the male reproduce with one, and then I let it reproduce with others. And then Caleb is like, what are you doing? Do you know how many piglets one pig has? And then Clarkson goes like, nah. And then now Caleb has to explain to him that he's going to have a lot of piglets running around in a few days or in a few months. So that's the end of the particular episode. Now, what did I like about this episode? As usual, from a technical point of view, it's shot really, really well. There were some rainy moments where they actually made mud kind of look cool. I don't know how they did it, because I was just looking at when their Range Rover got stuck. I was looking at that picture and I was like, wow, that looks really epic. It looks like something from a war movie, you know, that the way they treated the mud and the dirt. I thought that looked really cool. The opening shots, of course, with the bird and the farm and those wide shots. I love this show because of that, actually. That's one of my favorite thing about these Clarkson based shows, from Top Gear to Grand Tour. They put a lot of attention into wide shots. And so we get that in this particular episode. I loved about that. I love the introduction of Andy and new ideas on how they can make money on the farm. Hopefully, because as far as I'm concerned, it looked like a better alternative to fertilizer. You know, it looked like a better way of farming. And if this works again, I hope, you know, I don't live in Britain, but I would hope more British people will take it up, because what Andy was able to explain actually seemed, you know, there was something, there was potential. And the fact that they were going to buy everything from Clarkson, that was also pretty interesting. Now, the standout thing for me in this particular episode, apart from everything that I've said, was the editing, because they experimented a lot with the editing. If you've seen the episode, you know what I mean. They experimented a lot with playing with time, especially during the opening. They did something that you usually see in movies in terms of editing, and I thought that worked perfectly. Now, as you went on to the end of the show, they went back to the normal formula, but that opening with what they did, especially with Caleb now looking at what someone was doing and then having a flash, that I thought was cool. So basically that's it. That's episode 2, season 3. If I was to give this out of 5, I would give this a 4.2 out of 5. I had a great time. I thought it was an interesting introduction into pigs, an interesting introduction to a different way of farming. It was more of now, it felt like now season 3 had kicked in, you know. We are doing things differently. This is not season 1 or 2. This is a totally different season, and we started to do things a bit different. So we also get to see the cows, because there were some cows that actually remained. Not all cows were taken away. There were some that remained, and we also get to see that. So for people who loved cows, they're still there. So basically that's it. Now let's wait for episode 3. Episode 3 was teased, and it looks more chaotic, and I can't wait to see it. So basically, I would urge you to subscribe and urge you to join me in this journey of, I don't know, I'm on a journey to 100k, but you know what? Let's just focus on Clarkson Farm. Join me in the journey of the rest of the episodes. The next episode is episode 3. I'll see you there. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. See you on episode 3.